Best.Podcast.Ever is sponsored by the Gertzberg Law Firm, a full-service business law firm in Cleveland and Chagrin Falls that's changing the way businesses retain their attorneys. Go to gertzberglaw.com to learn more. While you're there, check out Cover My Six, a complete legal audit of the 6 areas that most often create or prevent business lawsuits and government investigations. Go to covermysix.com to learn how we keep you safe. Enjoy the show.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're about to listen to the best podcast ever recorded.
I know for a fact that before I speak anything harsh to anybody, I don't care what part of my life it is, it runs through an imaginary filter of, are you going to regret those words tomorrow?
Hey folks, Alex Gertzberg here. Thank you for being here. I appreciate it. This is Best Podcast Ever, and this is a limited series that we've created called My Colossal Failure. And as the name would suggest, it's about entrepreneurs who have failed, which if you are a good entrepreneur, if you're a successful entrepreneur, you've done many times and you've done colossally. We all have those stories, and I am no different. I have failed many times, but every entrepreneur that I know that I admire, that's an inspiration to me, has these great stories and has these great examples that show that as successful as they look today, they never just waved a magic wand and became this way instantly. They failed over and over and over again, and usually in a massive way. And there's a good reason for that. They take risks. Entrepreneurs are wired for risk. They are prepared to make big bets. The bigger the bet, the bigger the potential failure. You end up looking stupid. You end up feeling like shit. You have a lot of explaining to do to your spouse, to your investors, to your employees. And it's jarring. A lot of times you end up in therapy. It's traumatizing, when you run out of money, when you can't make payroll, when you have to shut down a business. So what you're about to listen to is one of a handful, about a half dozen episodes that we recorded within the last couple of months that we've put together into this series called My Colossal Failure. And you're going to hear some great, great failures and challenges. Some of them aren't really failures in the sense that the entrepreneur caused the thing to happen. They are just big, giant meatballs of a challenge that ordinarily would be seemingly impossible to overcome. What I will tell you is every single person that is on this show that I interview is someone that not just bounced back, but bounced back big. Okay. I mean, these are people who run giant companies now and who learned, who are confident today, who had to break through the imposter syndrome that a lot of us entrepreneurs have anyway, but some of us have even bigger imposter syndromes than other people because of these failures. But you get back up and you dust yourself off and you just keep fighting that fight, and you do it enough times and you learn strategically enough to where success is inevitable. It's inevitable. So I hope you enjoy this episode and this entire series. I will see you guys on the other side. Thanks, folks. Traci Miller, how are you?
I'm well. How are you, Alex?
Lovely. You look fantastic.
Well, thanks.
Are you having a good day?
You're kind. I am having a good day. I'm having a great day.
Good. So Traci, you and I just got talking about how this episode is part of this special series about overcoming challenges, and how, boy, I know your story. And I don't know if we're going to have 5 to 10 episodes in this series, and your challenge so far, and I've recorded a few of these already, is one of the, if not the most visceral, the most intense of any of them. And so to me, having you tell your story here is just so obvious. right? And how you, and I've gotten to know you over the last year through EO and through our forum. And that adds a whole nother layer of like specialness to it for me.
Right.
So with all of that, tell us, well, here, let's start by, all right. So it's color 3,
Color 3 embroidery, correct?
color 3 embroidery. Yeah. Let's actually do this right. Take a just like 2 minutes, and give us the what is awesome about color 3. What does it do? Who does it do it for? Give us a little intro.
Sure. So I own Color 3 Embroidery. We are an apparel decorator and we work primarily with the promotional products industry. So we're a wholesaler. So simply means we just do a lot of product and we really don't sell to the end user. We're kind of the quiet behind the scenes company that produces high quality work with phenomenal service behind it, which is truly our differentiator out there. We're the people who get it. We know how to have your back with those clients. And that's who we are.
And when was it created?
Yeah, sure. So we just celebrated 25 years. So
Wow.
I started this in May of 1995. So 25 years.
Wow. How many employees now?
32 today.
Okay. And customers like all over the world, right?
All over the country, for sure. We do ship all over the world, but our clientele is, United States and Canada now. So we've a few accounts in Canada these days.
Yeah. So Traci, when I asked you a few weeks ago that to think of your greatest challenge that you've ever overcome, it was like you're like, oh, this is easy, right? There's one, there's one big one.
Yeah, I said, do you want me to tell the story? The story, the one that usually I don't tell. So I'm here with you to tell it, which is great.
Yeah. Yeah. So give us a time frame of when this all goes down.
Yeah, sure. So I started the company in 95 and this happened in 2001. So I was just a little like 6 years into the business itself at that point.
Size wise relative to today, right? What does it look like? What does the company look like in 2001 relative to what it looks like today?
That's a great question. I would say that it was not a company. I mean, it was a company, but it was a full-time plus job on part-time wages with like 6 employees, I think at that time, most of which were my friends because they, wanted to help. Clientele base was, gosh, I can't even compare it. It was just a totally different company at that point, but it was a very small company. And,
okay.
I created a job for myself basically at that point.
Yeah. So, okay. What happens in 2001?
So, in 2001, so this would be, I think, Labor Day weekend of 2001. It basically, my world stopped before our country stopped. So 9/11 happened. But the week before that, I was married for, we were going on 6 years of marriage at the time. And my husband at the time, his name is Tim, and I were married, of course. The long and short of it is that my world completely stopped because he died. I woke up the day after Labor Day and I woke up to him not being in our bed like he normally would be, and had to have the harsh reality that he had passed away and it was by his choice. So I found him and he was already gone. And the reality of my world came crashing down very quickly on that day. I had the part-time business, right? Or full-time business, part-time wages. He was the breadwinner of our family at the time. I was devastated. I mean, with all the grief things that normally hit you, I think the reality of having to call his mom and tell her that he's not here today, and what just happened this morning when I woke up, and his dad and his family, and my family and my company. And it was overwhelming to the point that it's a little bit of a blur, actually, what all transpired in that first 24 hours. Um, but I knew my life would never be the same again, for sure. It just, everything stopped.
You, I was really struck by a comment that you made about 9/11, how the whole country was like in this one place, but you actually don't even remember 9/11 barely, right?
That's exactly true. So it's hard to imagine this knowing the tragedy that we went through as a country. But 7 days before that, my world ended. Everything about my life stopped, as it did for everybody else 7 days later. My brother actually is a pilot for American Airlines. And what I remember about 9/11 is my mom was actually with me at the time at my house, and got a phone call, and they said, Donnie's okay. Your brother's fine. He's at home. He wasn't flying today. And I'm like, okay, whatever. I don't even know what happened. And then I turned on the TV and saw it and went, wow, yeah, that sucks. And it didn't resonate with me, the magnitude of what was happening, because I was already in that grief state, deep in a grief state, and struggling with that.
Yeah. So, and Traci, I know how hard you work as the CEO of your business. Were you the CEO at that time as well?
I was. My father was still a partner with me in the business, but yeah, it was my baby at that time too.
So how long are like how do you act as a CEO when you're grieving and when you're processing, mortality and this, existential event in your life? How do you run a company when you're doing that?
It's a great question. And the first thing that comes to mind when you ask that question is that I was surrounded by people who cared about me, uh, from my employees, friends. And then I remember it was a payroll week. Is it crazy that I remember that? I remember freaking out that I had to pay people, and I couldn't get my brain to do it, So the accountants came in and never did it for me before, but they came in and did that, just it's interesting what happens when you're surrounded by a tribe of people who care about you. It The fact that that company survived for even the next 6 months still shocks me. I'm not sure that I was even in it. And I know you know this because you've heard my story about business before, but it fourth quarter is a peak season for us. It's craziness. It's controlled chaos. It's when everybody buys stuff for Christmas, and it's what we do, right? How we got through that fourth quarter is still shocking to me. I could probably ask the people that worked for me, and they'd have a better answer how we survived that. I lost some clients through that. I lost them because they didn't care that my husband just died yesterday and they weren't getting their shirts today. Literally, it was like a 2 day span. I do remember somebody telling me finally that, yeah, we fired that client. Sorry, but they were idiots and we didn't want to work with them. They didn't care, So I don't know. I think after a while, I was in survival mode. I don't have a choice. This is now my only income. And I was very young. We were young. We were in our 30s, early 30s. At that time, we didn't even have life insurance that made any sense. Like, we just weren't ready. We didn't plan for end of life things. It wasn't thought of. So I had to survive. I had to get it together. And this company became the one thing that brought me out of grief. I think it was the one thing I could focus on and have an impact in helping other people, the employees. Even I kept them employed, and then I just stayed focused. I really went deep into my company to save my sanity, I think, more than anything.
Do you remember so in business, we talk about hockey sticks all the time, right? We talk about like, well, there was that one customer that turned everything around, or there was that, one deal, or that whatever, that new software, that whatever. Can you remember on an emotional level, on a motivational level, what kind of allowed you to it's a weird question because you don't ever really move past an event like that, but what allowed you to like wake up from it, if that makes sense, like break through that challenge that event created for you?
I'll use the term wake up because I think I could go along this timeline and give you pivotal points all the way. But I think the initial wake up was I wasn't, the money wasn't flowing the way it should. And I was about to lose everything from banks, possibly my house, everything that I had. And it was kind of like the wake up call that said, girl, get it together. You know, it's you against the world now. You got to get it together. You got to get in there. And, is this what you want to do? I thought about just chucking it all and, move. I don't know, do something different. But getting a job wasn't really an option for me because of who I am. I probably would make a really bad employee, and I know that. So it was just a wake up call of the money. The money flowing wasn't happening. So I would say that would probably be the first catalyst, that shifted me into that motion of get it going.
Do you remember? So now you've got this additional motivation, right? Bills got to get paid. Customers don't care about this disaster in my life, and I need to move forward. Do you remember anything other than just the harsh reality of it, like coaches, mentors, therapists, books you read? Do you remember anything about like what kind of added some wind in your sails and pushed you forward? Anything like that?
That's a great question. So there's another component to this, right? So there's the grief, which I'm not saying everybody knows that, but we will all go through that grief. I mean, death is part of life, right? But for me, there was a piece of me that kind of died in there. And it was, since it was ruled a suicide, there was no note. I had really didn't know this was coming. I mean, people say that all the time, but how do I say this? My spirit died, my confidence died, my ability to, I don't know, see myself as able to do what I thought I could do before. It went with him. It was gone. Oh gosh, I don't want to start crying. It's there was a part of me that needed to be revived to be successful in my soul. And therapy, books, friends. There was no light switch that flipped and said, "You've got it. You're back. You're good." It's 19 years right now. I still fight that journey to this day. There's a piece of self-confidence and imposter syndrome that really took residence inside of me that I still try to shake to this day because of that.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. I'm not sure how else to say that. It's just one of those things that you feel like you're invincible and you can take on the world, and you're with somebody who you believes that with you and supports you, and then one day you're not good enough, or enough. I shouldn't say good enough. You're not enough. And I know that's a whole other topic of why people do that, and their own battles they're facing. They tell you in therapy, it's not really about you, it's about where they are, but that's not how you feel, and it's not what you hold on to. And like I said, to this day, still battling that.
We're going to come back to that. I want to make sure we talk about imposter syndrome. So I don't know. Do you get my weekly email?
I do. Yeah.
Yeah. Imposter syndrome was a feature of this last one. I mean, I think every entrepreneur is both, they don't talk about it, but I think every one of them, by the sheer nature of that role, you're taking risks. And the bigger you want to be, the bigger the risk you take. And the bigger the risk, the more risk you take, the more failures you have, the more you fall on your face, the more people make fun of you. And so every one of us is a walking imposter syndrome that we don't talk about, you know?
Oh, it's so true. So true. That could go on to another whole topic. But.
Yeah, no, but let's, you know what? I was going to come back to it, but now I got myself worked up over it. Damn it, Traci. So how do you give yourself that confidence boost when you need it?
You know, oh gosh, gives myself the confidence boost. I think I get the confidence, and this is sincere, not just because you're in my forum, but truly it has to do with building that tribe of people around me. When I found people who are entrepreneurs, truly, it's like we have our own language. we just get each other, and that support, even if it's the lack of judgment and the total support, is what gives me strength and confidence to keep moving forward, even when stuff I do doesn't even make sense to me sometimes. Having that tribe and that ability, that sounding board, that community to talk it out, I could come out of that and go, okay, I'm 40% confident. And if that's enough for me, like I'm good, I can move forward with 20, 30, 40% of a confidence level. I think in my nature, I have that. So truly it's about the people around me, I think, that really gets us there.
Yeah. I had, gosh, I need so many Post-it notes all over to remind me to do this. Cause for me, it's all about hacking my memory. Right. So I had dinner yesterday with some clients and some friends, and one of them, man, he used to be this big ball of just anxiety and stress. And then one day he just kind of, it was like he seemed like he was always high, you know, just in the sense of just like being just so happy and just like blissful, you know? And, he trained his brain. So we were talking about this yesterday when I said that exact same thing to him. I go, "Are you high all the time?" And he goes, "No." He said the mindset shift for me from constant anxiety to sort of just not giving a shit, you know, but in a good way, is I remind myself, I've trained myself to remember that the things I thought were going to crater me at one time, I now don't even, they don't even register with me. The things that you think are going to be important never are. They just aren't. Everything just is always changing, and you're getting more and more detached from it. And he goes, Alex, he said this to me yesterday, and it was a real, I need to wire my brain the same way. He goes, can you think of anything in your life, your most stressful moments, that endured, where that stress endured for more than maybe like a couple days or weeks, or at the worst months? Like the things that you were so stressed out about a few years ago, are they even on your radar anymore? You know, and I'm like, no, I cannot think of anything like that. I mean, I can think of things that I regret still, and I need to work on that. But like, I can't, it does go away. It does, you know? So
it does. It's such a great point, because I mean, I know I have referenced this, maybe not out. I'm trying to think if I said it out loud or if it's just me inside my own head sometimes, but it's the point of, well, am I going to die doing this? You know, no, I'm not. Well, then it's not that bad.
Right.
You know, kind of that litmus test, if you will, of like, is anybody going to die doing this? Nope. Okay, then I'm good.
Yeah.
Sounds crazy, but I think once you've been through the loss of someone you love, and you realize that is a true end, that's the true end all be all, right? I mean, there's no coming back. So that's my point of like demarcation. Like, nope, no one's going to die. We're good. Let's just keep going.
Right.
You'll be all right.
Well, and by the way, you're in a super loving relationship today.
I am, yeah.
You have this amazing company that has thrived through COVID, right? And through 2008, which I know was another really big challenge for your company, right?
God, yeah. Yes.
Yeah, that could be another, biggest challenge story in itself, right? But
Yeah.
I mean, no, yeah, go ahead.
There, you get to the other side, right? I mean, and you're right. I do have a phenomenal partner in life, my husband, Jeff, who just gets me all day long, supports me like nobody else in my life ever has. My company's phenomenal. My team is phenomenal. We made it through 08, 09, when again, I was just 2 days away from losing it all then. That was a different story. But, and now COVID, we're getting to the other side of that. This too shall pass.
Yeah. Yeah.
It just does.
So, Traci, if this were I think I am going to have you back to do the long interview, right? Because because I want to get to those other stories.
Okay.
But so the end of every podcast is what I call the lightning round questions, right? And some of them bear on this topic, and I want to make sure that I get to them with you. Okay. So here's just a few lightning round questions. You ready?
I think so. We'll try.
Yeah, they're easy. Okay. So, what is an assumption that you carried with you for a really long time that you later found to be totally bullshit?
That I was not good enough. All things, just I was never living up to any standard. Probably my own standard, but it's going away.
What were the big hockey stick moments there that helped you realize that was total bullshit?
I think every time I achieved a goal or led a group or was asked to participate in something that I thought was just way out of my league, it kind of hindsight. Right. Yeah, I guess you are good enough.
Yeah. You journal, right?
I do.
Yeah. Yeah. What you just said resonates with me because I keep a section of my journal for I call it my victory log, right? And I put my wins in there, and that's my break glass in case of emergency list, right? That's where I go.
I think I'm stealing that. It's a great idea.
I stole it. Yeah. It is a great, like, holy shit, I can't believe I did that. Actually, that's a lot of wins.
It is a lot of wins, and it's great things that we forget, right? We just, whatever.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be lightning round. We're not going very fast. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, that's the irony of the lightning round. It's the slowest part of the entire thing. Okay. What is the non-religious book or author whose words you apply the most in your life on a day-to-day basis?
I would say Simon Sinek. I just resonate with him, and I love the short version of a lot of the snippets. He puts a lot of meaning in a very condensed amount of text, and it's something I can retain and resonates with me all day.
Do you have a favorite Simon Sinek book? There's 3, I think, right?
Yeah, there are 3. Yeah.
It's Leaders Eat Last, it's Start With Why, and then the new one is the Infinite Game.
I would say Start With Why is probably my favorite if I had to pick one, just because it forced a lot of introspective thought and came out on the other side of that. Stuck with me. Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, 2 more. What is the metric you use? So you come home at the end of a hard day, long day. What is how do you know that you've had a good day?
That's a great question, Alex. I know I had a great day when I just feel good. When I have I don't know how to say that. It's, people are happy. People are happy around me. I'm happy. Kudos were shared. Either I'm giving them or we're getting them. People were lifted up. If it's me lifting up my staff, friends, clients lifting us up, that's a good day for us. That's a good day for me.
Yeah. People are happy. That's awesome. That is such a like succinct, punchy, just I've had a good day when people are happy. I love it.
I need
Okay.
to write that on one of my things on my wall. I think I'm going to add that to the inspiration wall.
I really like that there is no plan B behind you though. That is
in my mess.
awesome.
Yeah, there is.
That's
no plan B.
awesome.
And
That's
you know,
fantastic.
Alex, that comes from the story. I mean, I didn't have a plan B. This was it. This was all I had. And my friends bought me that actually. And it sits right across from where I stare at it all day. There's no plan B. This is it.
Yeah. You okay, so before I go to the last question, one day you came to Forum and you gave us all a gift of a Stoicism book.
Oh yeah.
Right? Which I freaking love that you did that. So one of the big sort of contemplative concepts in Stoicism is imagine your own death, right? And know that it's coming because it is for everyone, right? And think about it enough to realize that every day matters, right? And that there's some finite number of minutes that you've got left. So be grateful for everything that you've got right now, right? Did you find, is that something that you do? And is that something that you contemplated after Tim died?
Absolutely. One of the worst parts of the memory of prior, his last few days were not so great things sometimes being said, and I know for a fact that before I speak anything harsh to anybody, I don't care what part of my life it is, it runs through an imaginary filter of, are you going to regret those words tomorrow? I know I do that constantly. So I'm probably a little bit more diplomatic in the way I approach people, but it really comes down to, I don't want that to be our last conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah. And even now, my husband, Jeff, will say, I love you before the end of every call, because if that's our last words, that's what I want you to have.
Yeah. Ah, you're making me cry.
I know. Sorry.
That's awesome. No, that is so cool that you do that. You actually got me to start doing that more too.
Good.
Yeah. It's just, well, I always, I always tell people that you learn so much from your first marriage, right? That you become better at it the next time around. And, there are the universe of things that I will argue about today is a fraction, a tiny fraction of the things I would pick a fight over before. It's like
So
none
true.
of that matters. None of it matters, and yeah. Okay. Last question.
Okay.
Specific to, so there's a lot more lightning round questions, but this is the one that seems, I think, to me anyway, to fit nicely into this theme, this conversation. Okay. So I just asked you, what's the metric you use to determine whether you've had a good day at the end of the day? Traci Miller, what's the metric that you will use to determine at the end whether you've had a life well lived?
How much time we have?
All the time you need.
All the time in the world. For me, it's kind of the same thing. It's, did I have a positive impact on those around me? And, will they think of me in a way that they were better for having been part of my life? Because I know I've been better for those folks being part of my life. And I want to have that same impact on anybody around me. Lifting people up is part of my why. Simon Sinek, I'll take it back to that. But lifting people up and happiness with that. So how's that?
That's awesome. I kind of want to come work for you.
Come on.
You got room for an in-house counsel over there?
Yeah, we're working on a new building, so come on.
Yeah, no, but that is, if any, those are the kinds of thoughts and concepts that I would want my leader to have. And so if I was working for you, and I hope they're listening to this, it would be so gratifying and empowering to know that my CEO is thinking in that way and thinking about me and thinking about, and I think, that is such an important criteria for a good leader, is to have that kind of empathy and have that kind of consideration for the other people there, as opposed to just, making money or selling the company or selling the product or whatever. It's about the people. It's about their experience.
Yeah. And I know for me, it's never been about the money outside of survival. And that has always been my driving force. It's just making people happy around me. I don't know that I've always succeeded, but I sure have tried. And I think the experience we've just talked about was kind of a sliding glass moment in my life. I don't know if I would be the person I am today. I am who I am today because of the events in my past. And that event specifically was a sliding door moment for me. I think it changed me for the better in the end, as tragic loss as it was. But the impact was permanent. And in the end, I'm in a good spot. So,
yeah. Traci Miller, I love you. You're awesome.
I love you.
Thank you
Thanks,
so
Alex.
much. Thank you for doing this. Yeah. Wow. This was you've given me, you've actually helped me here a lot. And I know that anyone who has listened to us for the last 33 minutes will get a lot out of this. So thank you on all of our behalfs. And I will see you on Tuesday.
I'll see you very soon.
Yeah. Yeah. Be
Thanks,
well.
Alex.
Traci, thanks so much.
I appreciate you. Thank you.
You too. Later.
Bye.
Bye.
We hope you enjoyed this episode, and we thank you for listening. And remember to check out the Gertzberg Law Firm. Whether you are starting, running, growing, or transitioning a business, or if you need to create or update your wills, trust, or estate plan, our team will give you an incredible level of personalized attention and a passionate commitment to meet your objectives. We are veteran-owned, and our award-winning lawyers have the highest ranking from Super Lawyers and Avo. We have also recently received the coveted Weatherhead 100 Upstarts Award for a second year in a row, and we are among the first Ohio business law firms to offer our clients a non-billable alternative on every single matter we handle for them, and opt out of the billable hour. What we are most proud of, though, are the many things our clients rely on us for. We successfully defend them in court, but we also help them avoid the courtroom with our Cover My Six service. We protect their assets through good estate and succession planning, and we assist our clients in many non-legal business services like recruiting and business development. We want our clients to feel confident in their choices and to help them resolve any issues or potential problems quickly and efficiently so they can get back to what they love, running their businesses. More than just litigators, we are trusted advisors, problem solvers, and growers of businesses. Let us help you and your company. Call us or find us online to learn more. Thanks again for listening. We'll see you next time.